I'm going to ask you some questions about transportation. What form of transport do you prefer to use?
Especially, I prefer to use public transport because it's so crucial for me, and I have to go to somewhere in a day, so I use especially public transport, and public transport gives us a lot of chance to improve our communication skills, and we can communicate other people.
How often do you take buses?
I suppose I take buses once in a week because I go to my school, and that time I use public transport, in other words buses, because it's so convenient for us nowadays.
Can you compare the advantages of planes and trains?
Yes, I can, and I will respond this question by my personality. And first of all, I can compare the planes. Planes give us a lot of chance to relaxing and other thing on a flight, and trains. So.
Would you ride bikes to work in the future?
Yes, I would. It's so interesting question for me. In the future, I will ride bikes to go my workplaces because so interesting time that, and I breathe the fresh air.
Let's speak about leisure time. What do you do in your spare time?
I especially read a lot of books because it so helps us to improve our mental health, and we can learn a lot of things by books. Especially, it is nothing that I'm page turner person, and I read fantastic and romantic books on my spare time.
What do you do to relax?
Oh, especially I hang out with my friends and go to somewhere, especially garden, because they have fresh air and we can spend our time by our personality, but also we can communicate other people and kids, and it's so good chance to spend time for every person.
How do you usually spend your weekends?
I prefer to spend my weekends with my family because my family give me motivation to do something in my life, and that time I can believe myself and I try to achieve new things in my life.
What do you usually do after work or classes?
Especially I do after work or my classes, go to the course, especially I try to learning new things after classes because it's so crucial time for me, and I can improve my foreign language and other skills.
Let's move to part 2. In this part, you will be given a topic to talk about. You have 1 minute to prepare to talk about the topic. After that, you should talk 1 or 2 minutes about the topic. Describe a time when you borrowed something from your friend. You should say what it was, when you borrowed it, whom you borrowed it from, why you borrowed, and what you did with it.
As far as I remember, 2 months ago I prepared a competition at the school, and I have to achieve success this competition because I have a lot of ambitions for my future life, and that time I have to borrow 3 books from my friend, and my friend is so funny person in my life, and she has curl hair, and they give me her book to prepare in competition, and I tried to learn a lot of things from these books, and I prepared the competition with my group, and they give me motivation to achieve this course. And that time I find from these books a picture. It's reminds me our the last time to study with as course, but they then I give it her book to my friend, and it is nothing that I win it this competition, and I feel myself so happy, and I'm proud of my very close friend.
I'm going to ask you a few questions about sharing things. Do you think kids like to share?
I respond this question by my personality because I have 3 cousins, and they didn't like to share their things because it's their personality thing. Especially they didn't like to share their teddies and chocolates.
How can parents and teachers teach children to share?
I suppose the first of all, parents teach their children to share something in their life. They can teach their children by a lot of games. You know, the children be very funny, and they like to win a lot of a game, and I think it's so important way to share.
Can you suggest why some people don't like sharing?
Yes, I can. I suppose a lot of people didn't like their personality thing because this is so important for their life. Because this type of the thing reminds the very unforgettable time their life.
Let's continue with the questions about sharing in more general. How do you feel about sharing accommodation with others on campus?
I feel proud of myself when I sharing accommodation to other people, because that time I can help their life, but also I feel myself like a hero because I give and I share my accommodation to other people.
Do people in your country prefer to share public transport, or do they prefer to use private transport?
I think in my country the people prefer to use private transport because it's so convenient, and they can go to somewhere very fast and on a time, and it's so important for the worker and their life.